Let me tell you something they won't admit out loud. People love to watch you shatter. They love the drama, the chaos, the spectacle of someone losing their grip on sanity, because it makes them feel safer in their own fragile existence. But what they don't understand is that breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning. When you hit rock bottom, when you're lying there with blood on your hands and fire in your chest, you realize something profound. The world doesn't care about your pain unless it serves a purpose for them. And that realization, it changes everything. I used to think kindness was strength. I thought if I gave enough, loved enough, bled enough, people would see my worth. But here's the truth they'll never tell you. Kindness without boundaries is just another form of weakness. You can pour your soul into someone until there's nothing left, and all they'll do is sip from the cup while tossing it aside when they're done. They'll take and take and take, leaving you hollow, and then act shocked when you stop giving. You've changed, they'll say, as if change is a crime, as if staying the same after betrayal is some kind of virtue. Let me make this clear. You weren't meant to stay the same. Pain reshapes you. Betrayal rebuilds you. Lies scar you. And what emerges on the other side isn't soft or gentle or forgiving. It's survival. Pure, unfiltered survival. The hardest part isn't the breaking. It's the silence afterward. The silence when you scream and no one hears. The silence when you beg for help and get ignored. The silence when you finally realize that the people who were supposed to stand by you are the ones who pushed you into the pit. That silence, it's deafening. It eats at your soul, gnawing away at the parts of you that still believed in goodness, in loyalty, in humanity. But here's the thing about silence. It's also where monsters are born. Because when the noise fades, when the excuses stop, when the apologies dry up, you start hearing something else, your own voice. And once you hear it, once you really listen, you can't go back. They'll call you cold. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've lost your way, that you're too much now, too intense, too hard to handle. But let me ask you this. Did they ever deserve the version of you that stayed soft? Did they earn your vulnerability? Did they respect your trust? No, they didn't. So why should you apologize for becoming untouchable? For building walls so high they can't climb them? For learning to protect yourself in a world that sees your gentleness as an invitation to exploit you? Screw that. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them your tears. You don't owe them anything. When you finally wake up, when you stop waiting for someone to save you and realize the only person coming to rescue you is the beast you've been trying to lock away, that's when the transformation begins. That's when you start shedding the skin of the old you, the you who begged for scraps of affection, who swallowed poison disguised as love, who kept showing up for people who never showed up for you. That version of you, dead, gone, buried under the weight of every broken promise, every fake smile, every empty word. What rises from those ashes isn't weak or wounded. It's sharp. It's deliberate. It's a force they won't know how to handle. And here's the best part. They won't see it coming. They'll keep expecting the same old you, the one who bends, the one who breaks, the one who forgives without question. But that person doesn't exist anymore. Now when they try to push you around, they'll meet resistance. When they try to guilt trip you, they'll find steel. When they try to manipulate you, they'll face silence. Cold, calculated silence. Because the new you doesn't play games. The new you doesn't negotiate. The new you doesn't flinch. And trust me, that scares them more than anything. So don't apologize for the monster you've become. Don't shrink for their comfort. Don't dim your light to fit into their shadow. Be the storm they couldn't weather. Be the fire they couldn't extinguish. Be the silence they can't ignore. Because this isn't just survival, it's evolution. And evolution doesn't wait for anyone. There's a moment, a split second, when you realize you've had enough. Enough of the lies, enough of the manipulation, enough of the excuses, enough of being the dumping ground for everyone else's toxicity. In that moment, something inside you snaps. Not like glass shattering, but like steel bending under pressure until it finally gives. And when it does, you're not the same person anymore. You can't be. Because the old you wouldn't have survived what you've been through. The old you would have crumbled under the weight of it all. But not now. Now, you're forged in fire, tempered by betrayal, sharpened by loss. And let me tell you something, they're not ready for what comes next. People always want you broken, not because they're evil, but because broken people are predictable. A broken heart is easy to control. A shattered spirit is easy to mold. Desperation makes you obedient. Fear keeps you compliant. That's why they thrive on your pain. That's why they feed off your trauma. It's not personal, it's practical. Broken people don't fight back. They don't set boundaries. They don't walk away. But healed people are dangerous. Healed people rewrite the rules. Healed people refuse to play small. And healed people, they scare the hell out of the ones who benefited from your suffering. Here's the thing about healing. It's not pretty. It's not graceful. It's messy and raw and brutal. Healing means confronting every wound, every scar, every memory you tried to bury. It means staring down the ghosts of your past and telling them they no longer have power over you. It means owning every mistake, every misstep, every moment of weakness, and turning it into fuel for your fire. Because that's what healing is. Alchemy. Turning poison into power. Turning pain into purpose. Turning darkness into light. And once you've done that, once you've reclaimed every piece of yourself they tried to steal, you become unstoppable. But here's the catch. Healing isn't free. It costs you relationships. It costs you friendships. It costs you peace of mind. Because the people who loved you broken will hate you whole. The ones who thrived on your chaos will resent your calm. The ones who fed off your energy will starve in your absence. And that's okay. Let them starve. Let them choke on the silence they forced you to live in. Let them drown in the echoes of the love they never appreciated. Because you don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your patience, not your forgiveness. You owe yourself vengeance, and not the petty kind. The quiet, calculated kind. The kind that comes from walking away without looking back. The kind that leaves them sitting in the ruins of the bridges they burned. The kind that proves every single one of them wrong. They'll call you arrogant. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed, that you're too much now, that you're unrecognizable. But let me break it down for you. They don't want you better. They want you dependent. They don't want your truth. They want your silence. They don't want your strength. They want your submission. So when you rise, when you sharpen your teeth and walk away with your head held high, they panic. Suddenly, you're toxic. Suddenly, you're intimidating. Suddenly, you're the problem. But here's the plot twist. They created this version of you. Every lie, every betrayal, every act of cruelty, they built this monster. And now they have to live with it. Let them whisper. Let them gossip. Let them paint their little victim stories. Because deep down, they know. They know exactly what they did. They know how they drained you. They know how they pushed you. They know how they broke you. But they'll never admit it. Instead, they'll project their guilt onto you. They'll twist the narrative. They'll call you cold, callous, heartless. But you and I both know the truth. You didn't lose your heart. You protected it. You guarded it. You learned to value it more than the temporary validation of people who only cared about themselves. And here's the most liberating part. You don't need them anymore. You don't need their approval. You don't need their attention. You don't need their applause. What you need is peace. Quiet, unshakable peace. The kind that comes from knowing you've outgrown the people who tried to hold you back. The kind that comes from realizing you're stronger than the pain they inflicted. The kind that comes from understanding that your worth has nothing to do with them. Nothing. Zero. Zip. Nada. Your worth is yours alone. And once you truly grasp that, once you internalize it, you become invincible. So don't look back for closure. Don't chase explanations. Don't wait for apologies that will never come. Move forward. Build your empire from the wreckage they left behind. Craft your future with the same hands they tried to break. Show them what happens when you stop letting them win. Show them what happens when you stop playing their game. Show them what happens when you stop being the victim and start being the victor. Because this isn't just revenge. This is redemption. This is resurrection. This is revolution. And revolutions don't apologize. Let me give you a truth most people aren't ready to hear. Being good will destroy you if you give it to the wrong people. Read that again. Being kind, being loyal, being soft, being understanding. They sound beautiful on paper. They sell books, inspire speeches, and fill social media feeds with platitudes. But in the wrong hands, they're weapons, tools of manipulation, leashes to keep you tied down. And the worst part? The people who weaponize your goodness will never admit it. They'll smile in your face while planting knives in your back. They'll call you family while treating you like a side character in your own damn life. And the moment you stop playing along, the moment you stop bleeding for them, they'll label you the villain in their fairy tale. But here's the thing. They wrote the story wrong. I stopped expecting apologies long ago. I stopped waiting for them to see the destruction they caused. Why? Because people like that don't see the wreckage they leave behind. They just move on, acting like you're the one with issues. Meanwhile, you're left picking up the pieces, trying to make sense of the mess they made. But not anymore. Not this time. This time, I decided to rebuild myself instead of waiting for them to fix what they broke. And let me tell you something. They didn't see it coming. Rebuilding yourself after betrayal is like constructing a fortress in the middle of a battlefield. Every brick you lay is soaked in lessons learned the hard way. Every wall you build is reinforced with scars that remind you of who you almost became. Every door you lock is a declaration that not everyone deserves access to your soul. And the foundation? Oh, the foundation is solid. It's made of self-respect, self-love, and self-preservation. Because if pain taught me anything, it's that the only person who will always have your back is you. Everyone else? Temporary, conditional, fragile, breakable, disposable. The funny thing about rebuilding is that it forces you to confront the truth about the people around you. The ones who stuck around during the chaos? Those are the real ones. The ones who disappeared when the dust settled? Good riddance. You don't need fair weather friends. You don't need people who only show up when it's convenient. You need warriors, fighters, survivors. People who understand that loyalty isn't a trend, it's a commitment. People who value your presence not because of what you can give them, but because of who you are. And if you can't find those people, fine, walk alone. Because solitude with dignity is better than companionship with compromise. Now let's talk about revenge. Not the screaming in their face kind, not the burning bridges kind. I'm talking about the quiet, calculated kind. The kind that doesn't require drama or confrontation. The kind that comes from becoming so strong, so solid, so untouchable, that their absence feels like a bullet in the soul. That's the vengeance I live for. That's the silence I speak now. When you rise above the pettiness, when you outgrow the toxicity, when you become everything they swore you couldn't be, that's when the real punishment begins. Because nothing stings more than realizing the person they took for granted was the only one who ever gave a damn. They'll miss you. Oh, they'll miss you. Not because they suddenly realized your worth, but because they finally understood what they lost. They'll sit in the silence of your absence and choke on the memories of your loyalty. They'll wonder what could have been if they hadn't messed it all up. They'll regret pushing you away. They'll wish they had treated you better. But guess what? It's too late. You've moved on. You've grown. You've evolved. And they're stuck reliving the consequences of their actions. Here's the ultimate irony. They lose you thinking they'll find better. But what they find instead is emptiness, loneliness, regret. Because no matter who they meet after you, it won't feel the same. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. And that kind of real, once in a lifetime. So let them search. Let them settle. Let them pretend they don't notice the void you left behind. Because you're busy building something they'll never understand. Something they'll never touch. Something they'll never take away from you again. And here's the final truth. They'll never admit it, but deep down, they respect you more now. They respect the you that says no. The you that walks away. The you that doesn't flinch anymore. Because power doesn't beg. Power doesn't explain. Power just is. And that's what you've become. Not evil, not bitter. Just aware. Aware of your worth. Aware of your strength. Aware of your potential. And in a world that feeds off fake love and forced smiles, awareness is the real monster. The kind that doesn't break anymore. The kind that doesn't need anyone. The kind that they never saw coming. So rise, roar, refuse to shrink. Let the monster within you breathe. Let it grow. Let it consume the fear, the doubt, the insecurity that once held you captive. And when you finally step into the light, when you finally claim your place in this world, let them stare. Let them whisper. Let them call you savage, ruthless, heartless. Because at the end of the day, their words are just noise. Your growth, that's the proof.